Welcome into the Devil's Digest game preview as Arizona State gets set to host Houston here at Mountain America Stadium this Saturday. My name's Justin Lacertosa. That's publisher Hoder Bino. Before we get into things, we'd like to quickly thank our sponsors, starting with Burrito Express, the best burrito in the Valley, 100% fresh ingredients and authentic recipes. They sponsor various ASU athletes, 2 NIL deals. They have 9 locations all across the Valley, not including the Circle K Fast and Fresh locations. So for all their deals and locations and everything more, go to theburritoexpress.com and get yourself a burrito. And thank you to our other sponsor in Santan Ford. No car dealership in the Valley has helped hook up ASU players with more car deals than Santan Ford. So if you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, head up the 202 freeway in the Val Vista, go to Santan Ford, and they'll hook you up on a sweet new deal. And Hode, coming into this game, just like last week, the Sun Devils need to kind of rely on this short-term memory, but for a completely different reason. They lost to Utah by 32 points on the road. They exercised that short-term memory and beat number 7 Texas Tech at home. So they're going to have to put that win in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, and I really think that the massive injuries that ASU is having going into this game, star wide receiver Justin Tyson out, star defensive end Prince Dorba doubtful, so he's probably not going to play on Saturday too. And I really think that just having those personnel losses really helps just refocus ASU. Not that I think that we're going to be complacent. I mean, Houston is 6-1. They're contender for the Big 12 championship game, just like ASU is. So I think they already had the undivided attention even before those injuries did become reality in terms of personnel losses. So I think that there should not be any issue of ASU being full of themselves or being complacent, because obviously a lot of reserve players are going to have to step up. Some of them step up in a way they never did so far this year. So I think that while you want to have all those star players in the lineup, not having them is just really helping ASU to refocus that much more and realize that a win against Houston is just as monumental for the Big 12 championship game race as that win against Texas Tech was last week.
Yeah, and Kenny Dillingham has mentioned the fact that a lot of people for this Houston team talk about the strength of schedule, but nonetheless, it's a 6-1 team, and the offense might not be eye-popping, but it surely is efficient. What have you made of the Cougars' offense?
Yeah, you look at the stats, and you're right. I mean, there's nothing that really jumps at you, certainly not even close to what we saw from Texas Tech or even Utah the week before. You're looking at an offense that both scoring and total yards, number 11th, number 12th in the Big 12. When you look at the pass offense and the run offense, middle of the pack, if not lower than that. But it's a very, very efficient offense. I would say, like that saying, death by 1,000 paper cuts. They do a great job leading the clock. They do a great job on third downs. The quarterback, kind of Wigman, only has 2 interceptions so far. So he's very, very responsible with the ball. Also a very, very good runner for the Cougars. And they definitely have good playmakers too. I mean, as boring as this offense may look like, the leading wide receiver, Amari Thomas, number 5 in the Big 12. Their leading running back, Dean Connors, also number 5 in the Big 12. So they definitely can pose some challenges, maybe just very, very different from what we saw against a team like Texas Tech or even teams like TCU and Baylor. For that matter. I think when you have an offense like this that is so methodical, you really want to take him out of rhythm. So I expect ASU definitely to be more aggressive, not to sit back in the zone that often, because I think if you do cause kind of Wigman to pass the ball, and I think ASU would be okay putting their corners on an island to see if those receivers can beat him one-on-one. I think that is something that can help ASU defense quite a bit. And, you know me by now, how I feel about the ASU defense. I've been bullish on them ever since the preseason. They have not proven me wrong, aside from that Utah game where, everything went to hell. But I feel that if ASU was able to do such a great job against an offense like Texas Tech, I think they can do just as good of a job against an offense like Houston. And again, it's really just all comes down to just really take him out of their comfort zone, really keeping them off balance. And I think that's something this Sun Devil defense is definitely capable of doing.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, no Jordan Tyson for the Sun Devils, and Kenny Dillingham and offensive coordinator Marcus Arroyo said not one player in particular can replace him. So this ASU offense is bound to look a little bit different, but this Cougar defense is top 5 in the conference in both run and pass defense. No easy task. What's this ASU offense going to have to do?
There's no doubt that this Houston defense is very, very talented. The numbers definitely speak for themselves. You can make an argument that Houston's 6-1 record is a record that the defense probably has a bigger hand than the offense for that matter. But it's also a defense that really likes to keep a lot of the plays in front of them. And that, I think, really can play into ASU's hands, because when we saw Sam Levitt in his 2 best games, like against TCU a couple of weeks ago, and obviously his career passing game against Texas Tech, 319 yards, I think that the key for that success, and yes, Jordan Tyson was in the lineup for both of those 2 games, is really involving as many players as possible in the receiving game. Eight different players against TCU, 7 last week against Texas Tech. So in terms of really trying to effectively attack this Houston offense, getting more and more players involved, which ASU has definitely been showing that trend the last few weeks, is something that can definitely help ASU quite a bit. So, yes, you're not going to have Jordan Tyson, but you still have great receiving targets like Shaman Mater, like Malik Brown, that can work the short and medium routes really well. I still have not given up on a guy like Malik McClain, and I think that maybe the absence of Tyson puts some more urgency in him to go ahead and really play like we know he can play. But this Houston defense is also a defense that you can really beat with the long ball, and this is where a guy like Jaron Hamilton can come into play. Obviously had over 100 yards last week, his best game as a Sun Devil, so he's definitely coming in with some momentum. So there really are a lot of things at play over here that I think that can help ASU. And again, it goes back to my earlier point, Justin, when you talk about Jordan Tyson not being in the lineup. Now everybody feels that there's more weight on their shoulders. You don't have that safety valve. You don't have to worry about you having mediocre game because everything is going to work out because Tyson's going to make an unbelievable play like he has so far. So I think just that increased sense of urgency and increased sense of refocus is something that they're not only going to help the defense, but also really help the offense. ASU is going to have to, be, I think, methodical in their own right, because we know when ASU dominates the time of possession battle, like they did last week against Texas Tech, for example, good things usually happen. And the more you're going to have the ball in your hands, the more it can frustrate an offense like Houston, which again likes to be very methodical, very particular in their style of play. So I think that the tools are there for ASU, even with also Jordan Tyson, because if they follow the recipe they've been following the last 2 Big 12 wins, I think they can find some success.
Yeah, we mentioned that the past 2 games for ASU were season defining. In this game, you might as well throw right in the pack with Houston being 6-1. The winner of this game likely prolongs their chances to make the Big 12 championship game. And we talked about ASU having short-term memory from that Texas Tech win. How are they going to do it and come out with another one?
I first look at Houston and see how well they really played on the road. So they got 3 road wins. One of them against Rice, a crosstown rival, no different than ASU winning at Grand Canyon University, for example. Then they played an Oregon State team who was 1-7 as we speak, and they barely beat them by overtime by a field goal. They went to Stillwater and worked Oklahoma State. Lolly freaky da. I think every team right now would love to have Oklahoma State on their schedule, but you look at what happened just last week. I mean, ASU with obviously a very impressive win against a then undefeated number 7 Texas Tech squad. And then you have Houston, which at home needed a walk-off field goal to beat a mediocre Arizona team. So, you look at those dynamics in place, plus the fact that ASU does play very, very well at home. And I think things are looking good for the Sun Devils. And again, I'm not glossing at all over the absences of Jordan Tyson, the very, very likely absence of defensive end Prince Dorba. You have 3 players that are questionable, which I doubt all 3 of them are going to be in the lineup. Both starting safeties, Boogie Wilson and Ghost Rouser, and star linebacker Jordan Crook. But I still feel that in terms of having the reserves in those spots, there's not going to be a huge drop-off, generally speaking. And again, ASU is a very, very good team at home, playing a team which I don't think played all that well on the road. It's going to be a hard-fought battle, but again, what else is new in Tempe when it comes to Big 12 wins at Mount America Stadium? I see ASU coming up victorious 26-20.
Well, thank you, Hope, for all of your insight. Yet another big game for the Sun Devils here at Madden America Stadium. We'll be here to get you all the action. So to stay locked in, go to DevilsDigest.com. Follow Devils Digest on Twitter at Devils Digest. Once again, we'd like to thank our sponsors in Burrito Express and Santa Ana Ford. And as always, I'm Justin Lacertosa for publisher Hoderbino. We'll talk to you guys on Saturday.